On the day of my release from prison, my fiancée called off the engagement, and her family despised me for being a former convict. Little did they know, the black gold card in my pocket could buy the entire Dragon City. The coiled dragon ring in my palm could command hundreds of thousands of troops. Faced with humiliation, I only said one word: fine. In that instant, the butler of Tianjun Group respectfully welcomed me, saying, "Welcome home, young master." At this moment, all the city's elites had to bow their heads. My name is Yi Feng. 3 years ago, the Yi family of Dragon City was reduced to ashes overnight. The entire family was slaughtered. I narrowly escaped with my life, but was burdened with false charges and thrown into prison. In those 3 years of darkness, everyone thought Yi Feng was dead or rotting in the bottom of prison, but they didn't know. In prison, I met 5 scruffy old men who became my 5 masters. Take this, boy. This is the coiled dragon ring. Seeing this ring is like seeing the sovereign. With a single command, hundreds of thousands of elite soldiers will follow your orders. Foam here is the 1,000 Flowers token. All the world's intelligence and beautiful companions are within your grasp. This is the 9 transformations divine needle, which can revive the dead and restore flesh to white bones. I pass it to you today, along with this black gold card. 1/3 of the world's wealth flows through your hands. Finally, I built the Tianjun Group for you in Dragon City. You can be the chairman as soon as you step out. Looking at these 5 old men in tattered clothes, reeking of a sour stench, my eyes grew misty. They not only gave me earth-shattering skills, they also gave me the strength to seek revenge. I knelt on the ground and cowed heavily 5 times. Masters, your kindness in shaping my life is something I will never forget. Once I've settled my family matters, I will definitely take you in and let you live in comfort. 3 years had passed. The iron door burst open with a clang, sunlight blinding my eyes and a gentle breeze brushing my face. I took a deep breath, savoring the long-lost freedom. Yet before that freedom could last 3 minutes, a red BMW screeched to a halt in front of me. The window rolled down, revealing a face both familiar and strange. Li Yaqing, my fiancée. Once, she was a goddess envied by everyone in Dragon City, my rightful wife and name. Now, her makeup was exquisite, but her eyes were filled with nothing but disdain. Yi Feng, I didn't expect you to be out so soon. Her voice was as cold as ice. There was not a trace of joy at our reunion. My heart warmed, and I instinctively smiled. Yaqing, you've come to pick me up. I thought that in this world, where everything had changed, at least she still remembered me. But the next second, reality slapped me hard across the face. Li Yaqing pushed open the car door, her high heels clicking crisply on the asphalt as she walked up to me. She pulled a document from her bag and flung it hard against my chest. The paper scraped my cheek, stinging. Yi Feng, take a good look. This is our marriage contract. She looked down at me, a mocking curl on her lips. I came to find you to tell you something. I'm calling off this engagement. Before her words faded, she pulled out another spare marriage contract and tore it with both hands. Rip! The paper shreds fluttered down like snowflakes on my shoulders and buried my last shred of hope. Yi Feng, from the moment you went to prison, we've been people from 2 different worlds. Li Yaqing dusted off her hands, though there was no dust, her tone so cold it chilled one to the bone. I hope you have some self-awareness and completely sever this relationship. After all, I'm about to get engaged to someone else, and I don't want any trouble. I stood frozen, staring at the mess on the floor. My heart churned with mixed feelings. So she hadn't come to pick me up from prison, but to deliver the final blow, ensuring I wouldn't cling to her. Fine, I nodded, replying with a single word, my voice calm and devoid of any emotion. Li Yaqing clearly hadn't expected me to agree so readily. She frowned slightly, looking a bit surprised, then a hint of disdain flashed in her eyes. Smart move. Here's $1 million. Consider it compensation for me, no? More like alms, she said, pulling a stack of cash from her bag and casually tossing it at my feet. Who told you to rot in prison for 3 years, ending up with nothing? Take this money. Find some hole to hide in and beg. If anyone found out I once had a beggar for a fiancé, that would be truly embarrassing. Looking at the bills at my feet, my eyes turned cold. 3 years ago, I was the young master of the Yi family in Dragon City. Clad in silk and fed with delicacies, surrounded by admirers, the Li family was nothing but a lowly minor clan, barely scraping into the second-tier elite by clinging to the Yi family. Now that the Yi family is gone, Li Yaqing shows her true colors. I don't need it, I said coldly. Without even glancing at the money, I added, save it to buy a coffin lid for your next wedding. Li Yaqing's face flushed crimson. Enraged and humiliated, she spat. Yifeng, what do you mean? I kindly offer you money, and you insult me? Do you really think you're still the lofty young master of the Yi family? I lifted my eyelids, my gaze cutting toward her like a blade. Li Yaqing, if it weren't for the Yi family support, what would your Li family amount to? Even if you want to break off the engagement, why kick me when I'm down and tear away the last shred of decency? You're full of crap. Li Yaqing trembled with rage. My Li family's achievements today come entirely from our own hard work. As for you, you're nothing but an ex-convict just out of prison. Who do you think you are, putting on airs? When you're starving to death on the street, we'll see if you come begging me. With that, she turned and climbed back into the car. The BMW roared away, kicking up a cloud of dust. I stood in the wind and shook my head. People are no longer what they used to be. The world is cold and indifferent. If I were my former self, I might have felt angry and resentful. But now, my heart is as still as an ancient well. I can't be bothered with such snobs. After all, a lion never turns back at the bark of a dog. I clenched my palms slightly, and the fragments of the marriage contract that had been thrown at me instantly turned to dust, drifting away with the wind. Next time we meet, it won't be so polite. Just then, the low rumble of an engine sounded. A black Rolls-Royce Phantom glided to a halt beside me. The door opened, and a middle-aged man in a custom-tailored suit, with his hair meticulously combed, stepped out quickly. A humble smile on his face, he bowed deeply to me. Young Master Yi, he addressed me, his reverence enough to send chills down one's spine. If anyone had seen this, they would have been utterly astonished. Keep in mind, this man is the spokesperson of Tianjun Group in Dragon City. Zhao Fu. Ever since Tianjun Group made a strong entry into Dragon City, it has taken the business world by storm in no time, becoming a towering business figure in the eyes of countless people. But at this moment, this big shot who could summon wind and rain was lowering himself to the dust before me. You are. I pretended not to know. Frowning slightly, Zhao Fu looked up, his attitude still respectful. Young Master Yi, I am Zhao Fu, the steward of Tianjun Group. I am here specifically to take you home. Take over the group? I nodded, my expression calm. Tianjun Group will continue to be managed by you for now. Do not reveal my identity. Additionally, I need you to investigate something. Please give your orders, young Master Yi. Find out the mastermind behind the massacre of my Yi family back then. Yes, Zhao Fu accepted the order. With crisp and efficient movements, first, take me to the Sun family. I opened the car door and got in. I haven't seen my godmother in a long time. The Sun family is the home of Chun Sini, my mother's sworn sister. When the Yi family met with disaster, she was the only one who risked everything, running around tirelessly, barely managing to save my life. I have not forgotten this debt of gratitude. Young Master Yi, I happen to have prepared a top-quality Black Mountain tea, which can serve as a visiting gift. Zhao Fu drove, while cautiously reporting. You're thoughtful. I leaned back in my seat. I closed my eyes to rest. Since I was going to visit an elder, it would be impolite to go empty-handed. The car soon stopped at an upscale residential complex. Jinyuan Shijia. I looked at the name of the complex and nodded slightly. This was a famous high-end neighborhood in Dragon City. It seemed my godmother had been living quite well over the years. Just as I was about to get out of the car, my steps halted. My gaze swept over the building layout of the complex. My pupils suddenly contracted. I discovered that beneath this building lay an extremely rare primordial yang earth vein. Primordial yang earth vein. It was abundant with yang energy, an excellent treasure site for warming and nourishing the body and healing hidden ailments. 3 years ago, the massacre that wiped out my family, although I was lucky to survive, my body suffered severe damage, leaving lingering aftereffects that were hard to eradicate. These 3 years in prison, I relied entirely on my master's pills to suppress them. I never expected that my godmother's residence would offer such a blessing. It seems my godmother and I share a deep fate. A smile curled at the corner of my mouth. I stepped upstairs. At the same time, inside the Sun family's spacious apartment, an elegant middle-aged woman in a casual long dress was pacing anxiously in the living room. She glanced at the door from time to time, then turned to glare at the man leisurely sipping tea on the sofa. Zhonghai, how can you still be drinking tea at a time like this? Didn't I ask you to pick up phone? The speaker was my godmother, Chun Sini. The man on the sofa was Sun Zhonghai, my godfather. But he unhurriedly took a sip of tea. What's the rush? It's only 10 o'clock. It's not like he's going to run away. His tone was laced with obvious impatience. Chun Sini's brows were knitted tightly, concern all over her face. Fenger has no home now. If he comes out and no one's there to pick him up, all alone, what will he do? Sun Zhonghai, are you going or not? If you're not, I'll go myself. If this deal falls through, so be it. Let someone else make the money. It's not like we're struggling to get by. Sun Zhonghai reluctantly put down his teacup, though he was unwilling deep down. He had to yield to his wife's authority. Fine, I'll go, he muttered. Let me tell you, though, Fenger is my godson, dearer than my own son. If you dare to give him any attitude, I won't let you off the hook. Chun Sini snorted coldly. The warning was clear. Just as Sun Zhonghai picked up the keys to leave, the doorbell rang. Ding dong. Sun Zhonghai was startled. He walked over and opened the door. When he saw me standing outside, he froze completely. The young man before him was tall and straight, with deep eyes. He was no longer the fair-skinned young master in his memory. 3 years of prison life had washed away my naivety, adding a sharpness and world-weariness. You are? Sun Zhonghai hesitated. I grinned, showing my white teeth. Godfather, long time no see. I'm Yi Feng. Hello, Mr. Yi. A bead of cold sweat formed on Chun Zifeng's forehead. Sun Muqing stared blankly at Yi Feng. You too. We've already reconciled. Since the head of the Chun family is so kind, you should just accept this contract. A faint smile played at the corners of Yi Feng's mouth. Sun Muqing looked at Yi Feng's face, his mind in a tangle. Could it be because of him that the father and son of the Chun family had gifted him that piece of feng shui land? No, that's impossible. How could Yi Feng have such influence? Yi Feng hurriedly explained it. The head of the Chun family has a good relationship with brother CEO Zhao, and we're somewhat acquainted. Yi Feng's lie was a bit forced, but Sun Muqing's mind was simple and he didn't notice anything wrong. Oh, I see. Sun Muqing quickly put the contract away. Xiaoyu, quickly make tea for the head of the Chun family and young Master Chun. Sun Muqing hurriedly instructed Zhao Xiaoyu. Zhao Xiaoyu watched the Chun family's attitude toward Yi Feng, filled with shock. CEO Sun assigned him the position of security captain? Isn't that just fooling around? Zhao Xiaoyu had seen many people in his life. From a series of actions just now, it was clear that Yi Feng's status in the Chun father and son's eyes was definitely not low. In fact, he was even more highly regarded than Sun Muqing. This Yi Feng was mysterious and had strong masculine charm. Soon, Zhao Xiaoyu brewed tea for the group. Chun Zifeng didn't even dare to sit down until Chunin spoke. Only then did he dare to take a seat. Sun Muqing felt that Chun Zifeng's state today was very strange. In reality, it was all caused by nervousness. Facing the big shot behind Tianjun Group, Chun Zifeng seemed at a loss. Chun En quickly patted Chun Zifeng on the shoulder. This son of mine is a bit wild, but his nature isn't bad. I hope Miss Sun can be magnanimous and bear with this worthless one. Zifeng, from now on, you must learn more from Miss Sun and Mr. Yi, got it? Chun En spoke earnestly, and Chun Zifeng nodded repeatedly. Dad, I understand. Seeing this, Sun Muqing couldn't help but sigh inwardly that Chun Zifeng's father was far more impressive than his son. With a father like that, the son shouldn't be too bad either. Although she looked down on Chun Zifeng's past actions, they could still do business together. The strength of the Chun family as a top-tier clan is no joke. Chun took a sip of tea and continued. Miss Sun, you need to personally take a look at this plot of land. We originally planned to develop a villa area here, but what? Sun Muqing was taken aback. But to be honest, this place is somewhat eerie. In the past few days, workers have been telling me that many of their subordinates have fallen under some kind of curse. Their bodies are as stiff as stone, as if they've contracted some strange illness. Chunin didn't want any mishaps to occur after Sun Muqing took over. If anything went wrong, he would be in deep trouble. So he told Sun Muqing the details. Sun Muqing was also startled. She had consulted a feng shui master who said this place was warm in winter and cool in summer, a rare and good location. Besides, he had been there last time, and he was perfectly fine. Sun Muqing nodded solemnly. Thank you. I'll go check it out this afternoon. All right, in that case, I'll take my leave. President's son, Mr. Yi, see you next time. After bidding farewell to Sun Muqing and Yi Feng, Chen left Zhonghai Group without delay. Sun Muqing put away the contract and went downstairs. Now that she had taken over the land, she needed to go take a look at the situation. Besides, after thinking it over, she decided to pay the Chun family a sum of money. She couldn't just accept their gift for nothing. But what puzzled her the most was Yi Feng. She turned back and looked at him with a strange expression. You have that much influence? The Chen family gave me this land for free. Are you hiding something from me? Sun Muqing looked him up and down, trying to find something out about Yi Feng, but she couldn't see through him at all. After a moment, Yi Feng finally spoke. I don't have that much influence. You could say it's the Tianjun group that wants to cooperate with you. Don't they know Brother Zhao? We've had the fortune of meeting once. All right, aren't you going to check the land? I'll go with you. Chen said this place is cursed. I'm curious to see what kind of curse it is. With that, Yi Feng ignored Sun Muqing and went straight downstairs. Sun Muqing glared at him. This guy skipped work on his first day. But since she was in a good mood, she let it slide. Sun Muqing followed closely behind, got into his Audi, and sped off into the night wind. The land Chen gave Sun Muqing was by Longhu Lake, the most expensive area in Longqing. Soon, Sun Muqing's car arrived at the construction site's main gate. Looking out, a piece of land spanning several thousand square meters was enclosed, with many workers inside. Not far away was the headquarters of Fuhua Group. Sun Muqing and Yi Feng had just arrived here. Two staff members came forward to greet them. Are you President's son? President Chen asked me to wait for you here. Sun Muqing nodded politely. Looking at the bustling commercial district nearby, he already had thousands of ideas for developing this prime location. But before that, he needed to see what this auspicious land was really like. Just as Yi Feng and Sun Muqing were about to follow the staff inside, a Rolls-Royce suddenly rushed over. Then Yi Feng saw Zhang Tao get out of the car with Li Yaqing. Behind them were many figures in suits. Zhang Tao immediately spotted Yi Feng. He sneered coldly, Make way, make way. What are you, an ex-convict, doing here? Zhang Tao gestured for Yi Feng to move out of the way. Yi Feng frowned. I'm curious about what the two of you are doing here. Upon hearing this, Zhang Tao sneered. What am I doing here? I said, Are you out of your mind? Ex-convict? I'm here to look at the land. Get out of my way. With that, Zhang Tao stepped forward to enter, and as he passed Yi Feng, he rammed him hard with his shoulder. Unfortunately, he didn't know how strong Yi Feng had become. That collision sent Zhang Tao staggering backward, as if he had run into a concrete pillar. His bones let out a crackling sound, almost breaking. Seeing this, Li Yaqing's expression turned angry. She had been holding her anger toward Yi Feng for a long time. This bastard, relying on Sun Muqing's presence, actually dared to clash with her fiancé. Yi Feng, you have some nerve to offend my fiancé. With that, Li Yaqing swung her palm directly at Yi Feng's face. No matter whether Sun Muqing was here today, she had to teach this ex-convict a lesson. A murderous look flashed in Night Wind's eyes. Li Yaqing's raised hand froze midair as he caught it firmly. With a sharp slap, his palm landed across her face. Did you really think I wouldn't hit you? Blind fool, it was clearly Zhang Tao who deliberately crashed into me. But this bitch insists I started it. If that's how it is, there's no need to hold back anymore. That slap drove Li Yaqing completely mad. She shrieked, You! How dare you hit me? I swear I'll make you regret this today. Honey, why aren't you helping me? I want you to break one of his legs. When Zhang Tao heard her call him, Honey, his heart swelled with joy. He then ordered his men to surround Night Wind. Zhang Tao glared at Night Wind. Damn it, whichever hand you use to hit my wife, I'll cripple it. Several men in suits fixed a vicious stare on Night Wind. Just then, a few imposing figures strode over with fierce fury. Stop! A voice barked, cutting Zhang Tao off. Zhang Tao and Li Yaqing turned their heads simultaneously and saw Chen approaching with Chen Zifeng and several underlings. Chen walked straight up to Zhang Tao. Just as Zhang Tao was about to greet him, he was suddenly sent flying backward by a slap to the face. Then Chen stepped on Zhang Tao's face, grinding it back and forth. Zhang Tao, you've got some nerve coming here to pick a fight with me. See Chen, sir, Zhang Tao said, his nose bleeding profusely. Chen yanked him up from the ground, his eyes burning with a fury that seemed ready to tear Zhang Tao apart. Zhang Tao was stunned. The Zhang and Chen families had a decent relationship, and he had already discussed with Chen's younger brother 2 days ago about coming to inspect this land. Why would Chen start swinging without even a word? Zhang Tao tried to explain. Sir, listen to me. Your younger brother, Chun Jin, personally agreed to let me check out this plot and even said I could have it. Bullshit. Chun and spittle nearly drowned Zhang Tao. Get your people out of here right now. I've already given this land to Miss Sun. And weren't you just about to break off Mr. Ye's arm? You fucking bastard. You're asking for trouble. Fuck you. Chun slapped Zhang Tao several times again. Li Yaqing, pale with fear, stumbled backward. Yifeng looked coldly at Li Yaqing. Sure enough, she thought that marrying Zhang Tao and entering the wealthy Zhang family gave her the right to boss him around. Little did she know, in his eyes, Li Yaqing was just an ant, and the Zhang family no more than an insect. If they really pissed him off, he wouldn't hesitate to crush the Zhangs underfoot. After beating Zhang Tao to a pulp, Chun turned around and glared fiercely at Li Yaqing. Li Yaqing stared at Yifeng in terror, still wondering how Yifeng and Chun knew each other. Chun roared angrily. Get lost. Don't let me see either of you again. And from today, all business cooperation between the Zhang family and my Chun family is canceled. Miss Sun, Mr. Yi, this way please. Chun personally led the way for Yifeng and Sun Mooching, walking past Li Yaqing and Zhang Tao. Zhang Tao wanted to cry, but had no tears. He had come to discuss business, but because of Yifeng, not only did the deal fall through, but his financial lifeline was cut off too. The cooperation project with the Chun family is worth at least 700 or 800 million, and he has taken on huge risks in the process. If the Chun family pulls out, it would be a devastating blow to the Zhang family, a second-rate clan, with incalculable losses. Zhang Tao endured the sharp pain and crawled up from the ground, still wanting to plead with Chun, but Chun couldn't even be bothered to look at him. Chun Zifeng kicked him in the chest, sending him sprawling on his back. Didn't you hear what was said? Get lost. If you ever dare to disrespect Mr. Yi again, I'll break both your legs. Zhang Tao was scared out of his wits. What was going on? Why was the Chun family so respectful to this ex-convict? Meanwhile, Li Yaqing stood by, utterly devastated, her eyes vacant as she watched Yifeng's retreating figure, her heart a tangled mess of emotions. Only after the group disappeared from their sight did Zhang Tao erupt hysterically. Bastard! What gives that ex-convict the right? Zhang Tao was crushed inside. In the past, he was just a lackey in front of Yifeng, and now he desunk to a level worse than an ex-convict. Zhang Tao, you've really let me down. Li Yaqing had been slapped by that ex-convict, Yifeng. Her face was utterly disgraced, as even her fiancé had been harshly humiliated by the Chen family. Yaqing, don't be angry. I don't know how he got so damn lucky that the Chan family treats him so well. But don't worry, I will definitely help you get revenge for this. Zhang Tao dusted off his clothes. Don't think that just because you have the Chun family backing you, you're qualified to oppose me. Just wait and see. Zhang Tao quickly got into the car with his gang and left. He blamed all of this on Yifeng and held a grudge against him. Yifeng couldn't be bothered to pay attention to two mere pests. He followed Chun inside, where several staff members introduced the situation regarding this piece of land. After walking for a few minutes, Chun suddenly stopped. President Sun, I apologize, but I can only escort you this far. I dare not go any further. The lake ahead is all your territory. This place is eerie. Achoo! Chun sneezed. Soon, Yifeng sensed something was wrong here. His internal energy was extremely powerful, and waves of pure yang energy surged from his dantian, flowing through his limbs and bones. Even he felt a bone-chilling cold that seemed to pierce straight through the soul. Yifeng turned around to look at Sun Mooching. Strangely, Sun Mooching showed no signs of being affected. Yifeng frowned and asked Sun Mooching, You don't feel anything? No, why? You two are acting so strangely. Chun Zifeng's skin crawled all over. Standing here for just a few minutes was already unbearable. Then, Chun Zifeng kept rubbing his hands. Yifeng quickly circulated his inner energy, instantly dispelling the cold with his pure yang force. Only then did Chun Zifeng's complexion improve slightly. Miss Sun, if it's too much, let's head back first and find a feng shui master to take a look at this place. Chun advised, but Sun Mooching felt no discomfort at all. She smiled. Mr. Chun, it's fine. You two go on ahead, I'll take another look around. Without insisting, Chen quickly led the others away. After they left, Yifeng frowned and said, "The ground here is emitting a chilling aura. It's so cold, even during the hottest days of summer, could there be an extreme in or extremely cold object here? What extreme in and extreme cold?" Sun Muqing saw Yifeng muttering to himself and had no idea what he was talking about. Yifeng ignored her and continued deeper, soon spotting the huge lake at the center. A chill emanated from the center of the lake, like a fairyland, shrouding the entire lake in a veil of white mist. Here, Yifeng sensed something unusual. Ignoring Sun Muqing's attempts to stop him, he jumped into the lake. A few minutes later, he emerged from the water, holding a stone that glowed with a faint white light. An object of extreme, and cold indeed. This place has treasures. Even the inner energy in his body couldn't resist this bone-piercing cold. Strangely, Sun Muqing didn't feel the cold at all. She snatched the glowing stone from his hand and examined it closely. "Isn't this just an ordinary pebble?" Sun Muqing said, in confusion. Yifeng was also dumbfounded, but then he seemed to realize something and stared at Sun Muqing in shock. Sun Muqing was unnerved by his stare. "Why are you staring at me?" "It's nothing, Muqing. Consider this stone a gift for you. It might come in handy later. If you want to keep it home, it must be placed in a volcanic stone box. I'll give you one later." These are basic facts. Yifeng naturally understood that no martial artist could absorb such an extreme, cold object. For cultivators, it's not considered a treasure, but everything has its exceptions. A 5 constitution. Yifeng stared at Sun Muqing in a daze. Only he knew about this. That meant, with guidance, Sun Muqing could also enter the martial path. She could even improve faster than Yifeng. That was also why Sun Muqing didn't feel the cold at all. Keeping this to himself, Yifeng then took Sun Muqing for a walk around. By the time they came out, Chunin had already left. Indeed, this was a good spot. Moving the fluorescent stone away ensured that people wouldn't get sick from a cold. During the dog days of summer, this place became a rare summer resort. Sun Muqing didn't want this worthless stone to begin with, and she was still a bit angry. Who gives a broken stone as a gift? This is a good thing, trust me. Yifeng told her to put it away and not to take it out easily. If other martial artists saw it, it might bring trouble. By the time Sun Muqing and Yifeng got home, it was already dark. After a busy day, Sun Muqing's whole body was sore. But she still had some questions, so she pulled Yifeng along under the pretext of going out for a walk. "What's your relationship with the Qin father and son? You're definitely hiding something from me." Sun Muqing pointed at Yifeng. Yifeng spread his hands. "Didn't I tell you? What else could it be? He is the good friend of President Zhao's brother, so naturally he's my good friend too." Yifeng was whistling, and Sun Muqing glared at him. Just then, a message on her phone suddenly caught Sun Muqing's attention. After reading the message, Sun Muqing's face was filled with terror. "What's wrong?" Yifeng asked. Sun Muqing's eyes were full of worry. "Young Master Yin saved me and injured Zhang Taigang. Zhang Longhu has put out word that he's sending experts to hunt down Yin Tianqi. No, I must tell young Master Yin about this immediately." Yifeng was startled. "Zhang Longhu is going to kill Yin Tianqi?" "Sun Muqing, are you sure there's no mistake?" Clearly, it was Zhang Taigang who tried to defile Sun Muqing, and I personally crippled Zhang Taigang. How did it become Yin Tianqi? If Zhang Longhu wants to hunt someone down, he should be hunting me. But Yifeng didn't pay any attention to this at all. If Zhang Longhu really dares to send people out, then let them come one by one, never to return. You should worry about your own safety. Why bother with that Yin Tianqi? With Zhang Taigang crippled, Zhang Longhu will definitely send people after you. Yifeng knew that Zhang Taigang hasn't given up. If those people come looking for him, they will inevitably find Sun Muqing. But how could Sun Muqing believe Yifeng's words? He just thinks Yifeng is a fool. Then, regardless of everything, he quickly changed clothes and drove off to find Yin Tianqi. I must tell young Master Yin about this. He angered Zhang Longhu all because of me and Qianqian. As her words fell, Sun Muqing stepped on the gas, leaving Night Wind in the dust in the blink of an eye. This woman has lost her mind, risking her life for that bastard Yin Tianqi. Night Wind, enraged, immediately hailed a taxi and gave chase. Under the pitch-black night, 4 men in black and Dragon City sprinted towards the city center. Looking closely, their speed was astonishing, their bodies dragging after-images through the void. Meanwhile, Sun Muqing dialed Yin Tianqi while driving. "Young Master Yin, where are you?" Something big has happened. Zhang Longhu really sent someone to kill you. Yin Tianqi was lying on a chair in the villa, holding a teacup with a curvaceous beauty in his arms. Suddenly, he heard Sun Muqing's words. Crack! The teacup in his hand fell to the ground. Yin Tianqi was scared out of his wits. He asked in terror, Is this true? Who told you? Haven't you seen the overwhelming news? Find a safe place to hide, quickly. Zhang Longhu is ruthless. He will definitely not let you off. Sun Muqing's voice was filled with worry. Yin Tianqi was dumbfounded. In a panic, he hastily opened his phone and saw the kill order, almost pissing himself in fear. Today, he had only been focused on picking up girls and venting, completely ignoring the messages. If Zhang Longhu really wants my life, where can I escape to? There's no safe place in the entire Dragon City. What to do? What to do? Yin Tianqi stomped his feet in anxiety. He really thought Zhang Longhu was after him, little knowing that all the martial arts experts sent by the Zhang family were targeting Yifeng. Yin Tianqi's guts were twisted with regret. This matter has nothing to do with me at all. He had only talked big to try to fool Sun Muqing and Su Qianqian. How could he have imagined that the Zhang family would blame him for Zhang Tiegong's crippling? His mind raced. If it came down to it, he would go to the Zhang family and confess, explaining the whole matter about Sun Muqing from beginning to end. At this moment, Sun Muqing was driving at full speed when suddenly a blinding light flashed, making her unable to open her eyes. Sun Muqing slammed on the brakes, bringing the red Audi to a steady stop. 4 figures darted out from across the road, rushing towards Sun Muqing. Meanwhile, Yifeng got out of the taxi, and in the blink of an eye, his figure vanished like lightning. Are you Sun Muqing? I. Who are you? That's right, you're the one we're looking for. The leading black-clad man shattered the glass with a punch. Just as he was about to grab Sun Muqing's arm, Yifeng's handsome face suddenly appeared in his line of sight. The black-clad man abruptly stepped back, staring at Yifeng warily. Sun Muqing was scared stiff. The black-clad man's heart rejoiced at seeing Yifeng. Perfect pair. Chop off this kid's head, and we can go back to report our mission. Yifeng stood undaunted, his eyes filled with overwhelming killing intent. Just a bunch of scum like you? If Zhang Longhu sent you to die, then I'll take your lives. Yifeng clenched his fists, a surge of domineering internal force flowing into his palms. The black-clad man sneered, his eyes brimming with uncontrollable mockery. What a big mouth. I was already running things in Dragon City before you were even born. I was going to make it quick for you, but now you've sparked my interest in making you suffer. The man in black was around 40, with a sinister gaze like a vengeful spirit, exuding an aura of blood all over. That aura felt like he had walked through mountains of corpses and seas of blood. It was clear he had killed many. Finish him off quickly to avoid any complications. Another person spoke. The man in black didn't waste time. He pulled out a dagger and charged at Night Wind in an instant, the sharp blade slicing through the night air with an arc of light. As the dagger came, Night Wind threw a punch, the force of his fist carrying an overwhelming momentum that shattered the man in black into pieces with one blow. Blood splattered everywhere. The others were stunned by the sight. One punch, such terrifying power. Even a martial artist among them were startled. Sun Muqing had never seen anything like this. She screamed and covered her mouth in fear. This kid is a martial artist. The other 3 exchanged glances, their eyes filled with terror. Calling you rotten fish and shrimp would be an overstatement. Yifeng sneered, then turned to Sun Muqing and said softly, Close your eyes. He feared the blood might splatter onto Sun Muqing, and also worried the gruesome scene would frighten her. Who are these people? Sun Muqing had never seen martial artists before, nor did she know these people were after her mind was still occupied by Yin Tianqi. They're here to kill me, Yifeng said coldly, a murderous aura engulfing the assassins. Having witnessed Yifeng's strength, they finally dared not be careless. Charge together and kill this punk. 3 figures closed in on Yifeng from all sides, while inside the car, Sun Muqing's mind was a tangled mess. Yifeng's body moved like a ghost, leaving streaks of afterimages on the ground. Staring at that unfamiliar back, Sun Muqing grew even more terrified. Was the person before her really the same Yifeng she knew? The cold blade pierced through the void, aiming straight for Yifeng's throat. In the blink of an eye, They had already exchanged dozens of moves, each one deadly. They didn't expect that such a storm-like offense couldn't even touch a corner of Yifeng's clothes. A mocking smile curled at the corner of Yifeng's mouth. With such insignificant strength, you dare to show your face? Yifeng, be careful. Sun Mu was sweating profusely, but she was deeply worried about Yifeng's safety. If anything happened to him, she wouldn't escape the clutches of these assassins either. Could it be Zhang Longhu? No, Zhang Longhu's target should be Yin Tianqi. How could it be Yifeng? Just as she was pondering, Yifeng threw a punch that sent the martial artist flying dozens of meters like a kite with a broken string. Kid, you the black-clad assassin coughed up blood, his eyes filled with terror. A chi-refining level martial artist could already walk sideways across the entire Dragon City. But with his strength, he couldn't even touch a single hair on this kid. Had he been playing the fool all along, toying with us? Thinking of this, the other two were even more shocked, their eyes wide open. Night Wind slowly walked in front of the black-clad martial artist, looking down on him with an arrogant air. He stepped on a man's chest, and blood ceaselessly flowed from the man's mouth. Don't kill me. We were just following orders from Zhang Longhu. If you spare my life, from now on I'll be your dog. Whatever you want me to do, I'll do. Grandpa, spare this lowly one's dog's life. The man looked at Night Wind with pleading eyes, but Night Wind just sneered. Only now do you know to beg for mercy. Too bad it's too late. As Night Wind's words fell, he stomped hard on the black-clad man's head, crushing it into pieces. The other two exchanged a glance, their eyes only conveying one word. Escape. But how could Night Wind let them go? With a flicker of his figure, the next second Night Wind's body blocked the two in front of him. Seeing this, the two martial artists at the mid-stage of body refining were so terrified that they fell to their knees before Night Wind with a thud. Please spare me, grandfather. Please spare me. We were truly forced into this. Forgive us for not recognizing a true master. Please let us off the hook. The two martial artists kowtowed frantically, and within moments, their foreheads were bloodied, staining the ground beneath Yifeng's feet red. Yifeng seized them by the necks and lifted them off the ground like chickens. Crack! With a light squeeze, the necks of the two men in black snapped. Having done all that, Yifeng dusted off his clothes and walked up to Sun Muqing. Are you all right? Are you okay? Sun Muqing nodded mechanically. Yeah, Yifeng, you killed people. Her face was pale with fear, and she hadn't yet recovered from the shock. Yifeng had just gotten out of prison, and now he had killed someone. Sun Muqing had never seen anything like this. Now, in her eyes, Yifeng was a murderer again. If someone tries to kill me, I have no choice but to kill them. Don't worry, these men are all Zhang Longhu's underlings. They've done every evil deed and deserve death. There's no need to show mercy to people like this. If we let them go this time, who knows how many more innocent people will die at their hands. Besides, some of these people might have been involved in a massacre of the Yi family back then. Let me drive. Don't worry about me. You should be concerned about Su Qianqian's and your own safety. That bastard Yin Tianqi is definitely safe. You'd better stay home and behave yourself during this time. Leave the rest to me. Sun Muqing was in such a state that she couldn't even drive. Helpless, Yifeng had to let her sit in the passenger seat while he drove them home. After returning home, Sun Muqing locked herself in her room and immediately called Su Qianqian. Qianqian, are you okay? I'm Yifine. Muqing, why are you calling me so late? Hearing the voice on the other end, Sun Muqing slowly breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, Su Qianqian was fine. After hanging up, Sun Muqing was still replaying the gruesome scene from earlier. A knock at the door startled Sun Muqing. The door was pushed open. Night Breeze walked in holding a cup of hot water, placed it on the table, and without saying a word, turned and walked out of the room. This girl encountered this kind of thing for the first time today. She must have been terrified, but these are things she must go through otherwise. How would she grow up in the future? It's okay if she can't accept it for a while. She'll gradually get better in a few days. Night Breeze went out. Chinsini had prepared a midnight snack for him. Sun Zhonghai came home reeking of alcohol. As soon as he entered, Sun Zhonghai's face was full of smiles. Honey, I really encountered a huge piece of good news today. The Chen family actually gave me a prime piece of land. Do you know how valuable this place is? Let me tell you, in the future, it will be worth at least 500 million. Burp, I'm so happy today. I drank a bit too much. Seeing him so drunk and in such a state, Chen Sini was so angry that her face turned red. But when she heard that it was because of business, she held back and didn't lose her temper. Sun Zhonghai then turned and looked at Night Breeze. Night Breeze, how do you feel on your first day of work? Look at you, a grown man like you, messing around and ending up as a security guard. The people around Muqing are all rich kids, and you're just a small security guard. Perhaps because of the alcohol, Sun Zhonghai couldn't control his words. Chen Sini, seeing his sarcasm, couldn't hold back any longer. What were you like when you were 20? Weren't you just a worker too? Fenger has suffered so much outside over the years. If you can't be considerate, fine, but then you say such things? If you look down on him being a security guard, then get out of this house and don't ever come back. Out of sight, out of mind. Out of sight, out of mind. After speaking, Chen Sini turned to Yi Feng and smiled. Fenger, your godfather had too much to drink. Don't mind him. It's nothing, godmother. Yi Feng similit kaimli. Sun Zhonghai probably never dreamed that this was the opportunity Yi Feng had bestowed upon the Sun family. The next day, Yi Feng packed his things and left the Sun residence. Today, the agreed-upon time had finally arrived. It's time to take that dog, Zhang Longhu's life. Meanwhile, in the main hall of the Zhang family, Zhang Longhu was lying comfortably on the sofa. Today is already the third day. We're the people from Tianjun Group. Didn't they say the young master was coming to destroy my Zhang family? I'm right here waiting. Several machine guns were firmly positioned in the corner of the high-walled courtyard, and besides that, a few snipers with heavy sniper rifles were lying prone on the rooftop. The Zhang family's 100-strong guard squad were all armed, each one vigilantly watching their surroundings. Seeing this setup, Zhang Taigang was beaming with joy. If that young master of the Tianjun Group dares to come, I'll riddle him with bullets. In the Zhang family's main hall, not only were all the Zhang family members present, but today there was also a mysterious force. 24 martial arts masters stood in 2 rows, minus the 4 who went to assassinate Yi Feng. There were still 20 people in the hall. These were Zhang Longhu's trusted men, who had been through fire and water, slaughtering without mercy and thirsting for blood. These were the gifts Zhang Longhu had prepared for the Tianjun Group. He was brimming with pride and arrogance, showing no regard for that so-called young master of the Tianjun Group. A mighty dragon cannot crush a local snake here in Dragon City. Does the Tianjun Group really think they're the emperors, killing whoever they want? I reckon the Tianjun Group won't show up today. With such a big commotion, news must have reached their ears long ago. They're too scared to come out. Ha ha ha. Zhang Longting, the second son of the Zhang family, sneered disdainfully. Suddenly, in the grand hall of the Zhang family, the 24 longevity plaques. With a crack, 4 of them shattered. Zhang Taigang was startled. These longevity plaques were specially procured by Zhang Longhu from a master. They were meant to honor the 24 martial arts experts under his command and were enshrined in the Zhang family hall. A shattered plaque means death and the end of one's path. This was what the master had once told him. In other words, those 4 martial arts experts have been killed. The remaining 20 frowned in unison. Once someone steps into the martial arts realm, ordinary people are no match for them, unless that person is also a martial artist. Dad, could it be that Tianjun Group has brought people to attack? What should we do? Even the longevity plaques are shattered. Those guys must be dead. Zhang Taigang, who had been brimming with pride just moments ago, instantly deflated. Sure enough, Tianjun Group has launched their attack. Zhang Longhu barked sharply. Calm down, old man. It's hard to say that those 4 weren't killed by the Tianjun Group. Suddenly, Zhang Taigang seemed to remember something. All right, Dad, it's Yi Feng. That kid Yi Feng is a martial artist. I forgot about this. But no matter how skilled that kid is, he's just a body-tempering stage martial artist. How could he possibly deal with 4 people at once? Zhang Taigang simply didn't believe that Yi Feng did it. What he didn't know was that more than 10 kilometers away, Yi Feng, alone, was rapidly heading toward the Zhang residence. Upon hearing this, Zhang Longhu frowned deeply. Could that kid have helpers? He killed my men. Sooner or later, I'll make sure he dies without a burial place. Son, don't worry. Once 3 days are up, I'll personally go and wipe out Yi Feng for you. Zhang Longhu's face was filled with a cold, murderous aura. As soon as he finished speaking, a guard outside reported, Boss, someone is coming from 3 kilometers away. How many people? Zhang Longhu was startled. Just 1 person. Upon hearing this, Zhang Longhu almost laughed out loud. Just one person? Does the Tianjin group look down on me, Zhang Longhu, so much? Or maybe that damn young master wet himself in fear and sent someone to sweet-talk me. Zhang Longhu sneered. So the Tianjin group is nothing but a paper tiger. At that moment, Night Wind was only a few hundred meters from the Zhang residence. Looking from afar, several dart gun muzzles were aimed at him. Night Wind was not afraid at all. Now that he was a Kaiyuan peak martial artist, his protective aura could handle such bullets with ease. He swaggered toward the gate. Kid, if you don't want to die, get the hell out of here. Is this a place you can approach? But as his words fell, a silver needle pierced through the void. Before the gunner could react, his head was pierced through. Seeing someone fall, the others almost without hesitation pulled the triggers at Night Wind. Fire! Fire! Bang, bang, bang! In an instant, countless bullets poured down like a storm. Night Wind was completely fearless. A surge of powerful inner force flowed from his dantian, and in a flash, an invisible barrier enveloped his body. The bullets couldn't even get close to Yifeng. In the blink of an eye, he had already charged to the entrance of the Zhang family estate. Hearing the gunshots, Zhang Longhu's face twisted with rage. What the hell is going on? Didn't I say not to open fire unless it's absolutely necessary? Which idiot fired those shots? Be boss, that kid broke in. A lackey tumbled down from the courtyard wall in panic. At the same time, countless eyes snapped toward the gate. With a thunderous crash, the solid wooden door, half a meter thick, was blasted into splinters by an immense force. Yifeng, burning with overwhelming hatred, coldly fixed his gaze on Zhang Longhu in the main hall. Zhang Longhu, 3 days are up, I've come to take your dog's life. Yifeng advanced step by step. When Zhang Taigang saw that face, his mind went blank and his legs began to tremble uncontrollably. Zhang Taigang stammered in terror. Dad, it's Yifeng. This guy is Yifeng. He's the one who crippled me. Seeing Yifeng again, Zhang Taigang was still scared to death, but with his father and so many martial arts masters present, he quickly steadied himself. He glared viciously at Yifeng. Yifeng, you reckless fool, you actually dare to come here in person? Today, I will make you suffer 1,000 times over. Yifeng had made him impotent. How could Zhang Taigang not be furious? Zhang Longhu, however, looked at Yifeng in shock. For this kid to charge and under so many guns, his strength was evident. But it really was just him alone. A sinister smile curled at the corner of Zhang Longhu's mouth. Kid, you dare to barge in alone? You must be tired of living. You're the one who crippled my son's lower body, aren't you? Yifeng walked straight toward Zhang Longhu, his expression calm and composed, without a trace of panic. Yes, I did it. Zhang Longhu, today is the day your Zhang family dies. Hearing this, not only Zhang Taigang, but many in the hall couldn't help but laugh. Ha ha ha, arrogant. Kid, you've got quite the nerve. Who gave you the courage to say that to me? Zhang Longhu. Who do you think you are? If it weren't for the Tianjin group threatening to kill me, I'd take your worthless life in a minute. Yet a faint smile curled at the corner of Yifeng's mouth. I am the young master of the Tianjin group. The moment those words fell, the entire place fell into dead silence. After a moment, everyone looked as if they had heard something unbelievable. Zhang Longteng burst into laughter, mocking. Why don't you say you're the Jade Emperor? The young master of the Tianjin group? If you're the young master of the Tianjin group, then I'm the young master's father. At the same time, Zhang Taigang looked at Yifeng as if he were an idiot. Has this Yifeng gone crazy? Kid, you were the one who killed my men, weren't you? I'll give you a chance to live. Kneel down and kowtow to me, Zhang Longhu, 100 times, and I'll spare your life. From now on, you can follow me, Zhang Longhu. I'll give you the position of a hall master. How about that? Zhang Longhu was at the peak of body tempering. He could also tell that this kid in front of him was no ordinary person. At this moment, the 20-odd martial artists had surrounded Night Wind, and with the firepower from the rooftops, even if this kid had 3 heads and 6 arms, he would be done for today. Zhang Longhu, 3 years ago you wiped out my Night family. Today, I will use your blood to honor the 100 lives of the Night family. At these words, Zhang Longhu was first stunned, then an indescribable terror burst from his eyes. Zhang Longhu stumbled backward, startled into a shudder. You're that kid from the Night family? You're still alive? Zhang Longhu studied Night Wind closely. Yes, his features were remarkably similar to that man, 7 out of 10. Hearing this, Everyone in the Zhang family was shocked and trembling. Back then, one member of the Knight family had escaped alive. Who would have thought that in just 3 years he would return? And just how far had this kid's strength grown? Knight Wind's icy gaze locked on a Zhang Longhu. He took a step forward, his body poised like a wild beast. Damn it, Night Wind, so it's you, you bastard. Back then, I didn't finish you off, but today I'll make you die again. 3 years ago, Zhang Longhu sent people to hunt down Night Breeze. Unexpectedly, Night Breeze was sent to prison, which was why they didn't manage to kill the kid. They thought the only remaining member of the Knight family would spend his life in prison with no chance of getting out. Who would have thought the kid was lucky enough to survive and return alive? Do you think you're something? At this distance, I don't believe you can dodge bullets. Martial arts masters may be powerful, but they are still flesh and blood. Even Zhang Longhu, a peak body tempering realm expert, couldn't dodge that many bullets. Since this kid dares to come in and seek death, today we'll riddle him with bullets. If you take one more step forward, I'll make sure you die without a burial place. Zhang Longhu waved his hand. Click, click, click. A dozen gunmen released the safety catches. However, Night Breeze acted as if he hadn't heard anything at all, still walking step by step toward Zhang Longhu. Zhang Taiging panicked. This kid is really crazy, he's not even afraid of bullets. Even a peak body tempering martial artist at such close range couldn't withstand that many bullets. Yifeng let out a cold smile. Today was the anniversary of his parents' death. Today, he would make Zhang Longhu taste what true fear really meant. Seeing Yifeng about to reach him, Zhang Longhu could no longer hold back. A murderous look appeared on his face as he gave the order. Since you're asking for death, I'll grant your wish. Open fire. Bang, bang, bang. At his command, countless bullets were fired once again. But Zhang Longhu hadn't seen the terrifying sight of Yifeng effortlessly catching bullets just moments ago. If he had, he would never have ordered them to shoot. Yet, as the dozens of bullets homed in on Yifeng, a shocking scene unfolded. Yifeng raised his hand, and dozens of bullets hung, suspended in midair. Clang, clang, clang. Then, amid the horrified gazes of the crowd, all the bullets fell to the ground. Not just Zhang Longhu, everyone present was dumbfounded. The 20 martial artists gasped sharply, staring at Yifeng as if they had seen a ghost. Oh my god, how? How is this possible? Everyone stared at Yifeng in terror, unable to utter a single word for a long time. This completely shattered their understanding of the world. Zhang Longhu had lived for most of his life, but had never encountered such a situation. Zhang Longhu's expression was horrified. Before he could speak, Night Wind shot toward him like lightning, and Zhang Longhu panicked. Stop him now. At this moment, he seemed to have forgotten about fighting back. 20 martial artists charged at Night Wind together, dozens of powerful inner forces erupting like a volcano and surging toward him. An ordinary person would have been blasted to pieces by just a little bit of that force. But Night Wind shook his body, punched out with both fists, and collided with those inner forces. The next second, the 20 martial artists spat blood and were all sent flying backward. Is this kid even human? Zhang Taigang was terrified, his guts trembling. He even began to regret it. Zhang Longhu looked up, staring at Night Wind, standing there in terror. Then Night Wind beckoned him over. Zhang Longhu, I heard you're also a martial artist. I'll let you have 3 moves. Night Wind's playful smirk threw Zhang Longhu into a frenzy. I'll kill you. He gathered all his internal energy and charged at Yifeng. Zhang Longhu was now a peak body tempering warrior, but he had only cultivated his physical body to the extreme. He couldn't even release his internal energy outward like Yifeng. Looking at Zhang Longhu before him, Yifeng finally vented his fury, and Zhang Longhu finally tasted fear. If Yifeng hadn't been lucky enough to apprentice to a master in prison back then, how could he have escaped Zhang Longhu's pursuit? Zhang Longhu's moves were fierce, but he couldn't touch Yifeng's body at all. Yifeng didn't even move a finger. He led Zhang Longhu around by the nose in a moment. 3 moves had passed. I'll let you have 3 moves. Now it's my turn to strike. Yifeng's face turned cold. Staring into Zhang Longhu's eyes, his hands, like tiger claws, suddenly grabbed Zhang Longhu's arms. Rip! With one pull, he tore both of his arms off. This horrifying scene scared the entire Zhang family out of there, which the 20-plus martial artists turned deathly pale. In just one move, He crippled Zhang Longhu, who was at the pinnacle of body tempering and the strongest among all of them. Just as Night Wind was about to step forward to lift Zhang Longhu up for a thorough interrogation, an old figure walked over from the side. The figure appeared to be in his 60s or 70s, and Night Wind frowned at the sight. The old man said, "I am Li Song, head of the Li family in Dragon City. I come here on the orders of Wang Wu, the Black Dragon chief instructor under the Prince of Jinan, to visit the head of the Zhang family. Little brother, you have already crippled Zhang Longhu and his son. For the sake of the Prince of Jinan, spare them." Night Wind said coldly, "Who the hell does the Prince of Jinan think he is? Even if he comes himself, I will kill whoever I want. He has no right to interfere. If you don't want to die, get out of my way." Night Wind sneered. "To hell with the Prince of Jinan. Zhang Longhu destroyed my Yi family, and he still wants to live? Ridiculous." Hiss! Everyone in the Great Hall gasped, looking at that figure, their whole bodies tingling. This kid has a big mouth, he must be crazy. The Prince of Jinan is the top boss in Nanjiang province. The entire Nanjiang is under his control, and he has tens of thousands of troops under his command. Among them, the Black Dragon Guard were the elite under the town's South King, boasting a full 10,000 troops. Li Song, under orders from Wang Wu, the chief instructor of the Black Dragon Guard, came to the Zhang residence to visit Zhang Longhu. Yet Night Wind showed no respect. Was he really not afraid of death? Such big words. The town's South King is the paramount authority in Southern River. Chief Instructor Wang Wu commands 10,000 Black Dragon Guards. Even if he wanted to kill Zhang Longhu, he would need the town's South King's approval. What qualifications do you have? Li Song sneered. This Night Wind truly didn't know his place, even daring to disregard the town's South King. He had come this time on Wang Wu's orders. Zhang Longhu had secretly been offering many good things to Wang Wu. How could Wang Wu just watch his cash cow die? Scram! Smack! Night Wind slap sent Li Song's body flying back like a dead dog. Midair, blood sprayed wildly from his mouth. He landed on the ground, rolled a few times, and ended up at Zhang Tiegong's feet, completely motionless. Zhang Taigang hadn't expected Night Wind to dare kill anyone. Even Li Song, the ancestor of the Li family, was dead from a single slap. To counter the Tianjun group, Zhang Longhu specially invited Li Song over, intending to rely on the Jinan king. Even the Tianjun group didn't scare him. But now, it wasn't just the Zhang family. Many of the big shots and experts who came here today were about to suffer. Ha ha ha! Such audacity! How dare you kill my men? In the Southern River province, I've never seen such an arrogant brat. If you dare lay a finger on him, I'll make sure your Yi family is wiped out. Suddenly, a domineering figure rushed in from outside the Zhang family gate, clad in heavy armor. His face bore a weathered look, but he reeked of alcohol, completely drunk. Seeing the arrival, Zhang Longhu acted as if grabbing a lifeline. "Lord Wang, you must save me. Who are you?" Yi Feng coldly glanced at the man. "Who am I? I am Wang Wu, the Black Dragon head coach under the Jinan King. I don't care what grudge you have with Zhang Longhu. Get out of my sight right now." As soon as Wang Wu spoke, the Zhang family was greatly shocked. They had all heard of Wang Wu. It is said that the Prince of Jinan has 4 top warriors under his command, and this Wang Wu is the chief instructor of the Black Dragon Guard, overseeing over 10,000 men. Even if this Yi Feng had the greatest abilities, he could never stand against the Wang Wu before him. Wang Wu wields immense power and influence. No one in Nanjiang province dares to provoke him, just as no one in Dragon City dares to provoke Zhang Longhu. Don't worry, Patriarch Zhang. With me here, no one can kill you. If he dares to make a move, it will be an act of defiance against the Prince of Jinan. Hearing this, a glimmer of hope for survival was rekindled in Zhang Longhu's heart. Yi Feng glanced at Wang Wu and said coldly, "Do you want to die too?" At these words, even Wang Wu looked at Yi Feng as if he were a fool. It was the first time he had seen such a bold young man, with an even bigger mouth than his own, not even showing respect for the Prince of Jinan. Wang Wu then gave an order. "Black Dragon Guard, seize this brat." As the words fell, 100 elite soldiers suddenly burst in through the Zhang family's gate. Like Wang Wu, they were clad in heavy armor and carried steel blades in their hands. The aura emitted by those 100 men weighed down on the entire Zhang family, leaving even the martial artists deeply shocked. These are the Black Dragon Guards, just their presence is terrifyingly fierce. These 100 are likely all martial artists. Even if this kid is strong, facing so many, he probably stands no chance. The first few Black Dragon guards threw punches straight at Nightwind's face. This thoroughly enraged Nightwind. He suddenly gathered his energy, pulled back both palms, and as a dozen Black Dragon guard approached, he thrust out 2 palms. 2 terrifying palm winds surged like a tidal wave, and the dozens of Black Dragon guards in front were sent flying in unison. Then, like a lightning bolt, Nightwind charged into the crowd. In moments, the 100-man team was in disarray, throwing down their weapons and armor. All collapsed on the ground. Nightwind walked before Wang Wu, who was utterly dumbfounded. Even he, facing 100 Black Dragon guards, couldn't hold out for 30 moves. But unfortunately, when Wang Wu came today, he had only brought 100 Black Dragon guards. Lord Wang, this kid caught dozens of bullets with his bare hands, and my Wang family's 20 martial artists were no match for him in a single move. Zhang Taigang said, tremblingly beside him. Upon hearing this, Wang Wu was utterly stunned. Why the hell didn't he say that earlier? Before Wang Wu could finish his words, Yifeng slapped him and sent him flying. The chief instructor is nothing special. Indeed, Wang Wu's cultivation was slightly stronger than Zhang Longhu's, but still lingering at the body-tempering stage, while Yifeng had long stepped into the peak of the opening Yuan stage. Not to mention 100 Black Dragon guards, even 1,000 of them, Yifeng was not afraid in the slightest. It would just take a bit more time to deal with them. With both arms lost, Zhang Longhu's aura had weakened to its extreme. Only then did he truly feel the presence of death. You take your Black Dragon guards and get out of the Zhang family, or I'll make you die. Yifeng coldly glared at Wang Wu on the ground. Wang Wu had never been so humiliated before. When had he, the chief instructor of the Black Dragons, ever feared anyone? Wang Wu scrambled to his feet in panic. You're dreaming if you think we'll let the Black Dragon guard leave. You're asking for death. Before Wang Wu could call for backup, Nightwind grabbed him by the neck. With a crack in the horrified eyes of Zhang Longhu and Zhang Taigang, Wang Wu's breath ceased entirely. He never imagined until his death that this kid would actually dare to kill him. Even at the moment of death, Wang Wu's eyes were still fixed on Nightwind. A cold chill swept over Zhang Longhu and Zhang Taigang. Zhang Taigang, seeing Nightwind's thunderous methods, could no longer hold up. Young Master Yi, please spare my life. I don't want to die. Zhang Taigang knelt on the ground, thumping his head repeatedly. As for that, even though Zhang Longhu hated it, he couldn't stop Nightwind from grabbing him by the neck and lifting him up. Tell me, was it you who wiped out my Yi family back then? Tell me everything, or else I'll leave not a single soul of the Zhang family alive. The suffocating feeling from his throat completely shattered Zhang Longhu's last shred of psychological defense. He knew that Nightwind had the ability to make the Zhang family line come to an end. He finally believed the first words Nightwind had said, that he was the young master behind Tianjun Group. I'll talk. I'll say everything. Zhang Longhu struggled in terror. If I tell you, please spare my wife and child. Zhang Longhu said tremblingly. Do you think you're in a position to negotiate with me? Nightwind released Zhang Longhu and kicked him in both knees, shattering the bones. Zhang Longhu's limbs were completely crippled. The entire Zhang household was in a miserable state. The gun-wielding guards, upon seeing Nightwind, felt their scalps tingle and threw down their weapons one after another. Some were even so frightened by a single glance from Nightwind that they went limp and fell off the roof. You killed the Black Dragon head instructor. The hundreds of Black Dragon guards below let out earth-shaking roars, like rolling thunder echoing through the hall. Their eyes seemed to want to tear Nightwind apart. Anyone who doesn't want to die, get out of here. If you dare take one step forward, Wang Wu's fate will be yours. Nightwind's voice was ice-cold to the extreme. This is a blood feud between the Night and Zhang families. No one is to interfere. Yet at Night Breeze's single word, hundreds of Black Dragon guards all halted, not one daring to move. Didn't you hear me? Get lost. A single explosive shout, filled with surging internal energy, shook the hundreds of Black Dragon guards, causing them to vomit blood and collapse to the ground. In an instant, the hundreds of Black Dragon guards, like stray dogs, scrambled away without looking back. In the arena, only the Zhang family guards, Zhang family members, and Zhang Longhu's trembling son remained. Night Breeze looked down upon Zhang Longhu, lofty and godlike. It was I who slaughtered your Night family back then, but I was merely following orders. This matter was orchestrated by the Green Dragon War God. I, like them, was just a small pawn. I beg you, spare my family. Zhang Longhu knew that today he could not escape death. But if he could exchange his own life for a single spark of the Zhang family's survival, he would be content. Hearing his words, Nightbreeze's eyes turned blood red. Indeed, matters were far from as simple as imagined. Tell me, who else? The Night Wind said coldly. There are still two peerless experts. They haven't been in Dragon City for a long time now. All I know is that they are grandmasters from the South River. Killing me is as easy as killing a chicken for them. Grandmaster, Ye Feng Fronit. South River grandmasters are as rare as phoenix feathers and unicorn horns. You can count them on two hands. The Dragon Kingdom revered martial arts, once home to countless hidden aristocratic families and ancient martial clans. In common parlance, stepping into the Kaiyuan realm was enough to swagger through Dragon City. Those above the Kaiyuan realm were also known as grandmasters. Back when the Yi family was at its peak, they also had a martial grandmaster sitting among them. Yifeng had long known that Zhang Longhu's strength alone couldn't have made the Yi family disappear overnight. So it turned out that the Azure Dragon War God and the ancient martial grandmasters had intervened. Now you can die. Yifeng's palm struck down, its fierce force carrying an unstoppable killing intent, smashing Zhang Longhu's head into pieces. Whether it's the Azure Dragon War God or the ancient martial grandmasters, even if they flee to the ends of the earth, I will find you all. All members of the Zhang family were stunned, scared out of their wits. The Longqing Emperor, the once renowned Zhang Longhu, had just been slapped to death. Dad! Zhang Tiegong's eyes were split with rage, burning with immense hatred. You kill my dad, I'll fight you to the death. Blinded by anger, even if he was cowardly, Zhang Taigang charged at Yifeng. You could die along with him. Yifeng punched Zhang Taigang in the chest. Zhang Taigang flew backward, crashing heavily to the ground, killed by Yifeng's single punch. Thud! The remaining hundreds of people in the scene fell to their knees in unison, their eyes filled with terror, wailing and crying. Spare us, grandfather. It has nothing to do with us. Please let us go. The Zhang family's dependents, guards, and even the 20 martial artists all prostrated on the ground, not daring to look directly into the eyes of this god of slaughter, Yifeng. Rest assured, anyone who didn't stain the Yi family's blood back then, I can all spare. As for the rest, not one will be left alive. Yifeng swept his cold gaze across the crowd. In the blink of an eye, a few martial artists kneeling at his feet began to point fingers. In less than half a minute, another dozen or so martial artists and several dozen guards were identified. All of you, go and be buried with my parents and sister. Moments later, the Zhang family estate was filled with cries of agony and screams. That day, blood flowed like a river. Zhang Longhu, the underworld emperor of Dragon City's wealthy elite, along with the entire Zhang family, ceased to exist. That day, the sky over Dragon City seemed to be stained with a layer of red blood, and a blood-soaked figure left the Zhang estate alone. After stepping out, Nightwind changed into a fresh set of clothes and left the Zhang estate without looking back. The Azure Dragon War God, ranked 8th on the Dragon Nation's War God list, had already reached the pinnacle of the Kaiyuan realm. He once led a 100-man squad to slaughter 10,000 suicide squad assassins from beyond the border, gaining fame across the land. The 8th-generation war god of Dragon Nation, the Azure Dragon War God, though ranked 8th, wielded immense power backed by an ancient martial family. At the headquarters of Tianjun Group in Dragon City, Nightwind stood with his hands behind his back in front of the floor to ceiling windows on the top floor. A figure rushed in hastily through the door. Young Master Yi. The newcomer was Zhao Fu. Just now, Zhao Fu received news that the Zhang family had been wiped out. There was no doubt that young Master Yi had done it. Help me look into the relationship between the Nanjiang Grandmaster and the Azure Dragon War God. Upon hearing this, Zhao Fu's heart trembled violently. He did not expect the Zhang family's waters to run so deep, even involving the Nanjiang Grandmaster and the Azure Dragon War God. Zhao Fu acknowledged the order. A dozen minutes later, he quickly rushed in from outside the office. Young Master Yi, there are 4 Nanjiang Grandmasters in total. They are Nan Quan, martial arts, Yi Zhang Yongshan of the Northern Han sect, Zhao Wuji of the High City Zhao family, and Chen Shouan, the Grandmaster of Yin City. Among them, Two came to Dragon City a few years ago and then mysteriously disappeared. As Zhao Fu finished speaking, Yifeng suddenly turned his head, his eyes as cold as millennium-old ice. Who are those two? They are Zhang Yongshan and Zhao Wuji. Got it. Yifeng silently etched both names into his heart. The news of Zhang Longhu's downfall spread like a thunderbolt across the entire Dragon City. Zhang Longhu's limbs were crippled, dying with his eyes wide open. Zhang Taigang, known as the most arrogant, rich second generation in Dragon City, died at home. Dozens of members of the Zhang family, old and young, all met their end with regret. This news spread like a tidal wave across the entire Dragon City. The prestigious families of Dragon City were all shaken to the core. In the Li family's main hall, Li Zihong's eyes widened in shock. With a crack, the teacup in his hand fell to the ground and shattered into pieces. You're telling me my father is dead? Li Zihong stared at his younger brother in terror. Family head, it's absolutely true. Night wind broke into the Li family alone, and even Chief Instructor Wang Wu died at his hands. After hearing the report, Li Zihong collapsed into his chair. An hour ago, his father Li Song had been ordered to head to the Zhang family to protect Zhang Longhu from the Tianjun group. Now, not only had he failed to protect him, but his own father was dead. Night Wind has returned for revenge. Li Zihong's eyes were filled with fear. The news obtained by the Li family guards at the risk of their lives from the Zhang family couldn't be wrong. Behind Li Zihong, a pale-faced man in his 20s with a feminine appearance frowned. Dad, who is this Night Wind? After a moment of shock, Li Zihong finally snapped out of his daze. He's the bastard offspring left behind by the Yi family 3 years ago. The fish that slipped through the net back then. He didn't die, and now he's back, and he's killed Zhang Longhu and Zhang Taigang. Li Zihong said in a deep voice. Hearing this, Li Xiaotian was shocked. The Li family had risen to where they are today by dividing up the Yi family's assets. In the matter of the Yi family's downfall back, then no one in Dragon City knew about it, and no one dared to discuss it. Li Xiaotian had never heard Li Song mention it. Could it be that the Li family is also connected to what happened back then? Without a second thought, Li Zihong immediately dialed a phone number. Head of the Lin family, please bring Elder Lu over for a talk immediately. Yifeng is back. On the other end of the line, there was a long silence before a reply came. I understand. Soon, two men dressed in luxurious and elegant attire arrived at the Li family villa. One of them looked to be in his 50s with slick back hair, a gold chain, yellow teeth, and a deep scar running across his face. The other man leaned on a dragon-headed walking cane, dressed in a black mouse suit. His demeanor was calm and steady, his face dignified. Although his hair was white, he was full of energy. From time to time, a domineering internal force emanated from his body, making it clear that he was a martial artist. This person was none other than Lu Qishan, the patriarch of the Lu family, and the other was Lin Jun, the head of the Lin family. As soon as they entered, Li Zihong waved his hand, and all the guards and maidservants withdrew. The atmosphere in the hall grew tense. Only then did Li Zihong reveal a deep sorrow. Father, may your spirit in heaven protect the Li family from harm. If that kid dares to show up here, we'll wipe him out. Lin Jun said darkly. Wipe him out? Even Zhang Longhu was killed by that kid. Wang Wu also died at his hands. And those 100 black dragon guards were scared away by his single shout. How could our 3 families possibly be a match for him? Li Zihong said nervously. Then what do you suggest? That we just wait for that kid to destroy us? Lin Jun's eyes were filled with rage. The scar on his face was left 3 years ago at the Yi residence. Beside him, only Lu Qishan, the old patriarch of the Lu family, remained expressionless, a calmness hidden in his eyes. Black dragon guards, who are they? They are the elites under the command of the town's South King. There were dozens of martial artists from the Zhang family, plus head instructor Wang Wu and the Black Dragon Guards under the town's South King. With such formidable strength capable of sweeping through the entire Dragon City, yet they still died at that kid's hands. How powerful must he have become now? Li Zihong dared not imagine. That Yifeng is now a martial arts grandmaster. There isn't even a grandmaster in Dragon City. Even if our 3 families join forces, we will only face destruction. If it really comes to that, I am willing to offer half of the Li family's wealth, as long as I can appease Yifeng's anger and ensure peace for my Li family. Upon hearing Li Zihong's words, Lin Jun immediately rebuked. I disagree. Do you mean my Lin family should also give half of our assets to Yi Feng? Back then, our three families did not intervene. We only took a portion of the Yi family's property. Now you want me to give away half? Then my Lin family would be reduced to a third-rate family. Moreover, even if we offer up our assets, will that kid spare us? He dared to kill even Wang Wu and Zhang Longhu. Who in Dragon City would he not dare to kill? Lin Jun's refusal was not without reason if it truly came to that. They would be fish on the chopping block at Night Wind's mercy. If they united to resist now, there might still be a sliver of hope, especially with the Prince of Jinan backing them. And with the two Grandmasters of Nanjiang protecting them, they were all in the same boat now. Dad, that can't be right. How old is this Night Wind you mentioned? Younger than me, right? Li Xiaotian frowned. That's right. If it was indeed Night Wind who did it, he would only be 24 this year. Impossible. A 24-year-old Grandmaster? Even the Azura War God, the first of the 8 war gods of the Dragon Kingdom, only reached Grandmaster level. Back when the Azura War God guarded the northern border and slaughtered hundreds of thousands of enemy troops, he was still just a mere body-tempering cultivator in his 20s. And he's known as the #1 talent in the Dragon Kingdom. Who does Night Wind think he is? Lin Jun absolutely refused to believe that Night Wind was a Grandmaster. If he's not a Grandmaster, how did he destroy the Zhang family? Li Zihong argued back. I just don't believe he did it alone. Have you considered that there might be some master behind Night Wind? Lin Jun said disdainfully. The patriarch of the Liu family glared at the two of them and scolded. Stop arguing. Someone go immediately and find out the background of this brat. Furthermore, I will personally go meet the Prince of Jinan. A mere stray dog dares to kill the chief instructor of the Black Dragon Guard in broad daylight. Such audacity. Lu Qishan's eyes narrowed into slits, exuding a chilling aura. Lin Jun and Li Zihong, watching him, fell silent. Lu Qishan carried great weight in their eyes because he had once trained under a grandmaster in martial arts. Though dull-witted, decades of cultivation had allowed him to reach the peak of body tempering, just one step away from the revered realm of opening origin grandmaster. No grandmaster had appeared in Dragon City in 30 years. Let the final decision rest with Elder Liu. Since this brat dares to kill in Dragon City, we'll make sure he never leaves. Root out the weeds and eliminate all future troubles. Lin Jun was excited. The moment Night Wind left Tianjun Group, he returned to the Sun family villa. Sun Zhonghai and Chun Sini were extremely worried. Just now, they had learned from Sun Muqing that Zhang Longhu had sent assassins. Sun Zhonghai was terrified and panic-stricken. Chun Sini looked at the time on her watch. Wind has been out for half a day. Why isn't he back yet? Could something have happened? Years ago, she had promised Wind's parents to take good care of him. If something happened to Wind, how could she have the face to go on living? Just then, the door was pushed open, and Night Wind walked in. Seeing Night Wind, Chun Sini's heart felt like a heavy stone finally hit the ground. Wind, where have you been? You scare me to death. Zhang Longhu didn't do anything to you, did he? Chun Sini grabbed Night Wind's arm and looked him up and down. Good mother, I'm Fine. From now on, there will be no Zhang family in Dragon City. These words stunned Sun Muqing and Sun Zhonghai, their eyes wide. Now Night Wind had personally killed his first enemy. In the future, there would likely be even more dangers. He didn't want to drag down his godmother's family. He had come his time to say goodbye. Back then, I watched with my own eyes as the enemy slaughtered hundreds of my Yi family, and my sister died in my mother's arms. I fled for 3 days and nights, severely wounded, and later only escaped disaster by going to prison. Zhang Longhu's hands were stained with my parents' blood. Today, I finally avenged them. Godmother, I want to go and burn incense for my parents. Yifeng told his godmother about killing Zhang Longhu. With his own hands, such a thing couldn't be hidden. Upon hearing the news, Sun Zhonghai stood dumbfounded, trembling all over. Feng, after a moment of silence, Chun Sini didn't refuse but smiled gently. Okay, I'll go with you. Chun Sini immediately took Yi Feng's hand to leave. Back when the Yi family was destroyed, Chun Sini had set up memorial tablets for Yi Feng's parents. Their graves were only a few kilometers away. Just then, Sun Zhonghai suddenly stood up, his expression turning extremely serious. You can't go. If he must go, let him go alone. Sun Zhonghai. Chun Sini's face was full of anger. Wife, do you even know who Zhang Longhu is? Do you know how many big shots and powerful figures from Southern City are behind him? How could Sun Zhonghai not know about what happened to the Knight family back then? Even if he only heard it from others, he would know a thing or two. But over the years, everyone in Dragon City buried the matter deep in their hearts, and no one dared to speak for the Knight family. It was all because Zhang Longhu had mysterious experts backing him, and no one dared to say anything foolish. Back then, Chun Sini had a huge fight with Sun Zhonghai over erecting a tombstone for Yi Feng's family, afraid it would bring disaster to the Sun family. Now that Yi Feng had returned and even claimed to have wiped out Zhang Longhu's entire family, Sun Zhonghai could no longer hold himself back. Godfather, I came today to say goodbye to you as well. Here's some money considered a token of my filial piety to you both. The Knight family matter has nothing to do with you. Thank you, Godmother, for setting up the tombstone for my parents and sister. With that, Yi Feng turned and left without looking back. Chun Sini could no longer contain herself and yelled at Sun Zhonghai. Sun Zhonghai, even if this family falls apart, I'm going today. Fenger is my godson, his matter is my matter. If you have a problem with that, then we'll get a divorce. Chun Sini also stormed out of the door, then drove off with Yi Feng from the villa. Sun Muqing watched her mother's retreating figure, her heart filled with mixed emotions. But what shocked her even more were the words Yi Feng had just spoken. Had something really happened to the Zhang family? Sun Muqing's shock was beyond words. But soon the news reached her ears like a volcanic eruption. At a cemetery a few kilometers outside Dragon City, Yi Feng knelt on both knees, his face filled with deep sorrow. Mom, Dad, rest assured, your son has avenged you today. But it's not over yet. I will make sure your spirits rest in peace. Little sister, I brought your favorite fruits. Yi Feng arranged the offerings one by one. A man rarely sheds tears, but now he could no longer hold back, tears streaming down his face. Chun Sini watched from the side, waiting for a few minutes, until Yi Feng heavily kowtowed 3 times to the tombstone. Godmother, I'm leaving. Where are you going, Feng? Chun Sini's face also carried sorrow, but Yi Feng didn't speak. His gaze turned deep and cold. Without looking back, he left the cemetery. This time, he was going to find those 2 grandmasters. Meanwhile, Lu Qishan, the patriarch of the Lu family, had driven himself to the entrance of a massive mansion. From a distance, the mansion was splendid and vast, stretching beyond sight, flanked by 2 rows of armor guards. These were none other than the elite Black Dragon Guards under the command of Su Tsang, the Prince of Jinan. At that moment, within the Great Hall, a man in a battle robe, 8 feet tall, glared furiously at the Black Dragon Guard squad leader, kneeling before him. My lord, that kid killed Chief Instructor Wang and the entire Zhang family, 100 people. We simply couldn't stop him. The Black Dragon Guard squad leader lay prostrate in terror. Report. My lord, Lu Qishan, patriarch of the Lu family of Dragon City, requests an audience. Suddenly, another man rushed hurriedly in through the hall's entrance. Su Tsang's face was grim and dark, his gaze brimming with murderous intent. Let him in. Soon, Lu Qishan hurriedly stepped from the courtyard into the main hall. Prince Jinan, your humble servant Lu Qishan reports that Yi Feng destroyed the Zhang family, committed murder and arson in broad daylight, and even killed the Li family patriarch and your subordinate Wang Wu. I implore you to act on our behalf, to eliminate this remnant of the Yi family and restore peace to Dragon City. Lu Qishan had long known Prince Jinan. Back then, when dividing the Yi family's assets, the 3 families Lu, Li, Lin, and Zhang Longhu promised to pay tribute to Prince Jinan every year with gold, silver, and treasures. Now that the Zhang family had been wiped out and even his own subordinates had been killed, Prince Jinan had already anticipated that the 3 of them would come to seek an audience. A mere bastard child dares to run wild on my turf? Guards, deliver my orders. Summon Zhao Wuji and Zhang Yongshan at once. Among the 4 Nanjiang grandmasters, Zhao Wuji and Zhang Yongshan were Prince Jinnan's honored guests. Moreover, back then, the Azure Dragon War God had ordered Prince Jinnan to destroy the Yi family. And it was also Prince Jinnan who instructed the 2 of them to do it. What he didn't expect was that the escaped bastard of the Yi family had not only returned alive, but also wiped out the Zhang family and killed one of his own generals. What audacity! He killed my men, I'll make sure this kid never leaves Dragon City alive. Upon hearing this, Lu Qishan finally revealed a smile. With the 2 grandmasters of South River stepping in, This kid's life is as good as over. His only mistake was provoking someone he shouldn't have. Night Wind, however, was completely unaware of this. At that moment, he was driving toward Haicheng. The Zhao family in Haicheng was bustling with excitement, with drums and gongs resounding through the air, because today was Zhao Wuji's wedding day. 5 years ago, Zhao Wuji had broken through to the Kaiyuan realm, attaining the status of a grandmaster. Back then, he had sworn that he would not marry until he became a grandmaster. Today was both his 50th birthday and his wedding day. At the Zhao family's entrance, rows of guards were receiving wedding gifts from the wealthy families of Haicheng. Just then, a black Mercedes sped over from the distance and came to a screeching halt directly in front of the Zhao family's gate. Countless guests turned their gazes toward Night Wind.